What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. I got a little bit of extra for you. It is August 30th, 2022. I am JD from New York. As always, coming to you from the OTS Beer Garden. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Tuesday afternoons, wherever you may be. Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed may be on their way back to the WWE. I got news on Triple H bringing back even more former names that were once let go by Vince McMahon. Santana Garrett has been brought back to the WWE, former NXT superstar. WWE brought her back, and I'm going to tell you what her new role is under Triple H. Also, the Good Brothers may be on their way back to the WWE, and FTR, possibly the greatest tag team of all time, possibly the best tag team in the world today, will not be playable characters in AEW's new video game, Fight Forever. Why? I got the answer for you right here on OTS. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Everything you need for social media is down in the description below. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. I need 1,000 likes minimum on today's OTS Extra. Go hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell for notifications. And go check out that colossal podcast on Saturday night, episode 442 of the podcast on the homepage right now, where we even go deeper into what Tony Khan needs to do to get AEW back on the right track. Go check that out all on the homepage if you want some extra content from Off the Script. Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed possibly returning to the WWE once again. Fightful Select has learned that among names pitched or discussed for a WWE return, those names include Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. Now let's start with Strowman. Strowman was released by WWE on June 2nd, 2021, just about 9 months after holding the WWE Universal title that he won at WrestleMania. Strowman had re-signed with the WWE in 2019, landing a major 7-figure multi-year deal that has paled in comparison to some of the newer contracts WWE has handed out over the last year. That contract that he signed, Braun Strowman did, that major 7-figure deal, was the exact reason why he got fired. So we'll go over that in just a little bit. He actually got down to the last few months of his deal, and sources in WWE said that he played hardball during his negotiations. In the year or so since leaving WWE, numerous talent have noted to Fightful that his comments on independent wrestlers rubbed them the wrong way, though at this point they weren't even sure if he meant it or he was doing it to garner heat and just kind of act that way on social media. Other sources within WWE complimented Strowman for looking ring ready physically, saying he looks better now than he did when he was in WWE. Since his release, Strowman has only worked 8 matches, with half of them being with the Control Your Narrative promotion. We've learned here at Fightful, as far as negotiations have been concerned with Braun Strowman, no specific negotiations or no specific pitches were made involving him. Now, he's just a name. It's just a rumor. People of influence in WWE would not confirm when asked by Fightful about Strowman, but they also did not deny any Strowman speculation. To reiterate, says Fightful, we cannot confirm that he's headed back to the WWE, only that pitches have been made and his name has been discussed internally. In addition, we confirmed Andrew Zarian's report that there is interest on WWE's side in bringing back Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed was heavily pushed during the end of the Triple H NXT era. He had several looks on the WWE main roster before being released. Now, Fightful says they haven't learned anything new beyond general interest that has been put out there for Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. First of all, talk about control your narrative, right? This is what I want to get out there first and foremost. Control your narrative. He wants to go out there and claim that Control Your Narrative is going to be the next major promotion in all of professional wrestling. It's only control your narrative when your former employer asks you to come back and they want to pay you handsomely to return to the biggest wrestling promotion in the world. I guess he doesn't really control his narrative, which right now, what they're doing there is a complete farce. Number one. Number two, of all the talent that's out there, I honestly do not understand why WWE has any interest in Braun Strowman. I don't. The only reason I would bring back Braun Strowman is to get Omos off TV. And that's the only reason why Braun Strowman was removed from a major role on television. Not only was his contract $1.2 million per year, and they thought he was making too much money, and in the midst of budget cuts, obviously he was very, very expendable. WWE realizes that someone like Braun Strowman, their ceiling is very small. So when you accomplish and do everything creatively with somebody like Braun Strowman, there really isn't anything else to do with someone like Braun Strowman. And that's where they were with him. He was old news. They really ran the gambit with Braun Strowman. In comes Omos. He's the new toy. He's something fresh for Vince McMahon to play with. He's bigger than Braun Strowman. So all of that factored into Braun Strowman getting released on top of his contract and the major money he was making. You put this in a blender and you mix it up. That's the reason why Braun Strowman was fired from WWE. But what value does Braun Strowman have now? What are you going to do with Braun Strowman that you haven't done with him already? What is going to be the major difference outside of him being just slightly better than Omos and a little bit more popular and a little bit better on the microphone than Omos and a little bit more of this and that? He's not somebody that people are going to tune in to watch on Monday Night Raw. To me, Braun Strowman gives you that feel of the old administration because that's what they looked at. That's what they found appealing. That's not Triple H and Triple H's administration. Do I think Triple H would book Braun Strowman better than Vince McMahon? Absolutely. But what else can we do physically with him that hasn't been done on Monday Night Raw? He's won every major championship in the promotion. He's wrestled everybody that's still there right now. Nothing will be different with Braun Strowman going back to WWE. Nothing. The only thing, and this is a real creative daydream situation, the only thing that I would do with Braun Strowman is pair him with Bray Wyatt once again. Maybe we get some form of a faction with both of them again. If Bray Wyatt is on his way back to WWE, I certainly do believe that Bray Wyatt's going to be on his way back to WWE. I don't know what else you would do. To me, Braun Strowman is not a guy that you are interested in watching wrestle on his own. I don't think that he is intriguing enough to be a solo act for you to care enough about what he does. To me, he's always been a secondary player. To me, he's always been a background player. So that's what I would do to him or with him. Give him a secondary role, have him be a muscle, have him be somebody's big bodyguard or someone like, Bray Wyatt had in the Wyatt family. He was there. He was the intimidating figure in the Wyatt family. That's all I see of value out of Braun Strowman. Other than that, I don't know why anybody would waste money bringing him on in. I'd save that money for somebody else eventually to become a free agent and throw that money at them instead of throwing it at Braun Strowman. Now, Bronson Reed is a completely different story. He's a completely different beast. In fact, Bronson Reed now, to me, and I'm going to admit this to you, I was really upset when they released him. But honestly, now that things have turned out the way that they have turned out, it actually worked in Bronson Reed's favor. Bronson Reed looks better. He wrestles better. He's more hungrier now. And this is going to be a different Bronson Reed than the Bronson Reed that we got when Triple H was running NXT. When Triple H was running NXT, Bronson Reed was still developing into who he is today. I feel like Triple H was giving him the ball to see what he's really made of, and we were in the midst of seeing him develop. Now it's going to be a fully developed JONAH, a fully developed Bronson Reed. So now when he goes back to WWE, he will be at that point that he should have been at when he was in WWE, and he got there by working Impact, by working New Japan, by being in the G1. This is going to be a different Bronson Reed, a better Bronson Reed. This Bronson Reed is going to be the Bronson Reed that Triple H visioned or envisioned for himself working in NXT and then getting called up to the main roster. That's somebody I throw my money at. That's somebody that I think I'd watch Monday Night Raw for. That's somebody that I really do believe Triple H was very heartbroken over when he left. And I would bring him back absolutely. And the only reason why he was fired, and this is why I don't get why Vince McMahon is missed by people. Triple H was heartbroken, no doubt about it, when Bronson Reed was released, because he put so much effort into Bronson Reed only to see it wiped away like everything else. Bronson Reed dropped the North American Championship to Isaiah Swerve Scott, Swerve Strickland now in AEW. He dropped the North American title only to get 2 tryouts on SmackDown in dark matches, then to be fired because they felt, hey, let's give him a shot. He's a big guy. He can move. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's give him a couple of tryouts. He got 1 tryout. Then they asked him to come back, and then they fired him. Why did they fire him? Because they thought he was overweight. Why did they fire him? They thought he was well past the expiration date as far as talent that they have to sign that is over 30 years old. To them, over 30 years old is past the expiration point. We can't hire him. He's already too old. We don't want him. And he's got a bad body type. He's not going to be what we want on television. All these things mixed into it is why Bronson Reed was released, and he got the fucking shaft. He got fucking shafted. So if he comes back, it is going to be a true redemption story for him, and he is going to be somebody that is very valuable to Triple H in the end. He still even has room for improvement and room for development. Braun Strowman does not. Bronson Reed does. So I'm bringing Bronson Reed back, and I honestly feel that we're going to get the best Bronson Reed, the best Jonah, if he joins WWE this time around now with Triple H in charge. But Strowman, I would not give a look at or waste my payroll on Strowman at all. The Good Brothers, they may be on their way back to WWE. Impact Wrestling recently held both nights of their Lone Star Stampede television taping over this past weekend, with several newsworthy occurrences taking place. At the tapings, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven of OGK defeated the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, to win the Impact Tag Team Championship. The following night, I'm sure somebody will complain that I gave away spoilers. I don't give a fuck. Fuck Impact. The following night, the Motor City Machine Guns defeated the Good Brothers in what was their final scheduled appearance for Impact Wrestling. The Good Brothers are reportedly set to focus more on New Japan Pro Wrestling and that product going forward, with work also already being made on their Talkin' Shop-A-Mania 3 pay-per-view. Per PW Insider, there had been overtures from WWE to Gallows and Anderson. This is when Vince McMahon was still in charge, not Triple H's administration. When Vince was in charge and before he retired, there were advances made to possibly gauge interest on bringing Gallows and Anderson back to the company. But talks between the two sides fizzled out due to the duo already being burnt by the company once. Gallows and Anderson signed a 5-year extension with WWE back in 2019, preventing them from leaving for AEW as the show was set to premiere. The team was then cut shortly after WrestleMania 36 in 2020, with the Boneyard match being their final appearance in the company, helping AJ Styles against The Undertaker. This meant the Good Brothers weren't going to return on the cheap, which led to talks between the two sides fizzling out. This, of course, could obviously change with the new WWE regime. I think Gallows and Anderson still have a lot to give if Triple H wants to bring them back. And if Triple H is serious about revitalizing the tag team division, then I absolutely would bring them back. I absolutely would give them a spot on Raw or on SmackDown under Triple H to start booking that tag team division correctly. Now, I don't know what the plan for the tag team titles is going to be. Triple H, as we documented on Saturday night on episode 442, there are rumors going around that he wants to revitalize all these specific championships and get new championship title designs. We don't know what that means for the Universal, WWE, Women's, or the Tag Team Championship. So Roman Reigns is holding both world championships. The Usos are holding both tag team championships. We don't know what the plan is for the tag team division. Is Triple H planning on 2 divisions? Is Triple H planning on making 1 world championship for the tag team division? And are we merging the divisions? Are we getting this tag team division as a unified division? I don't know. Either way you look at it, if you are thinking and making the tag team division a priority, and you want to set tag team wrestling apart from the old era in what Vince McMahon did and your era now with Triple H in charge, I think bringing the Good Brothers in would be a fantastic idea. And AJ Styles has felt kind of cold for a very, very long time. Maybe we can get Gallows, Anderson, and AJ Styles back together, and maybe we can have some fun with that the way it should have been booked when Vince McMahon was there and when they made their debut joining AJ Styles to begin with. I think that would be great. Now, I don't know. Trust has been lost here. Now, I think if Vince McMahon was there, I give them all the power in the world, and I respect them greatly for not going back there because of what happened. When Vince McMahon gauged interest, they blew it off, and they were stubborn in the contract negotiations. Why do you want us back now? What do you want to do with us? What's the plan? Of course, things fizzled out because the trust there has been lost. Triple H is a different story. Triple H is not going to be somebody that goes into negotiations without a plan for them if he's interested in them. All he needs to do is set out what he wants to do. You guys are a top-tier tag team in the industry. I want to bring tag team wrestling back to be a focus point in WWE, and I want you to be a big proponent of that division. That's all they need. They need Triple H's word. They need the trust of this administration to not do them dirty again. And that's all it will take. And I honestly do think that Gallows and Anderson would be back in the WWE if that was the circumstance for them. And if this is tag team wrestling revitalized in WWE, if that is the plan, I'm absolutely bringing them back as well to the company. Santana Garrett. She was hired back by WWE, not for an in-ring role, but as a coach at the Performance Center. WWE has hired Santana Garrett back to work at the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. She starts this week. Santana Garrett has been wrestling since 2009. She worked for several years on the independent scene, and she had brief stints in Impact Wrestling. She never really got her big break, and I don't really understand why. She's very good at what she does, and she's quite attractive. She also worked for Shine, WOW, and Stardom, amongst other places. Garrett was initially brought in to work as an enhancement talent in NXT back in 2013, then again from 2016 to 2018. In 2021, she actually worked a couple of matches for Tony Khan and AEW, and Garrett is the last name, or the latest name, I should say, to be brought back under Triple H's new administration following Vince McMahon's exit from the company. There was even a time where she actually got called up to the main roster, and they didn't even use her. I believe she was a part of the SmackDown brand, and they didn't even bother to use her. I don't even think that they realized she was employed there. I don't know why they wouldn't use her. She's very good, and she is somebody that I do think that would have gotten over if given the opportunity to do so. Any more coaches in the Performance Center like this, someone who has years of experience like this, and somebody who's been ingrained all over the world in women's pro wrestling, to me, that's a top-notch hire for Triple H in the Performance Center to work with the women and get that women's division right where it needs to be in NXT. And finally, guys, FTR. FTR has been a big talking point all weekend because of this news. FTR has been removed from the AEW Fight Forever video game. They address being removed from the game. FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler have publicly commented on not being part of AEW Fight Forever and the new video game coming out next year. As previously reported by other outlets, the tag team champions here of Ring of Honor, AAA, and New Japan Pro Wrestling will not be a part of the first version of AEW Fight Forever after making it to the model phase of the game. Now, Louis Dangor of Give Me Sport, a known WWE shill, he talked about this in a report from Give Me Sport, noting that Dax and Cash will be left out of the game, and this isn't an issue for them as they knew about it months ago. Everybody made this a big deal. Everybody tried to turn this into a major deal and add this fuel on top of the already burning fire of the nonsense and the drama going on in AEW right now, just adding another log to that fire. Cash says this. For us, the only real issue is we were kind of blindsided by it. We found out not how you would expect. And when you find out something like that, something major like that, being taken out of the video game, side note, that's a big deal for them because that's extra revenue in their pocket because their likeness is going to be featured in the game. And for every copy of the game sold, they get a cut of their likeness being in the game. So this is why it's a big deal. Money. It's a big money issue. Your mind automatically assumes the worst. For us, it was like, is this something we need to worry about? I don't know why they would be worried. Tony Khan has treated them like gods. I don't know why this would be turned into a big deal. Should we read between the lines here? We're not told for a reason. Now that we are aware and we are out, what is the reason? Is it something we should worry about? We got an answer. It made a lot of sense, a very logical answer. Okay, cool. As long as we don't have to worry about it, non-issue, and that's what it is. We've known about this issue since May, June. I don't know how long, but for months. The fact that it came out yesterday, I don't have any idea why. I don't know why this news came out if they knew in May or June. I don't really understand this. Dax recapped his day before continuing to say he doesn't know when and why it came out yesterday, but we got answers on it a while ago, and for us, it's not even an issue or thought about. Dax said this, and I quote, "The headline can be, FTR is not upset. FTR does not blame anyone for pulling us out of the game. As Cash said, we heard about this. I want to say maybe March? Very long time ago. It was before the Briscoes match at Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, WrestleMania weekend. We heard about it a long time ago." End quote. Dax recalled contacting Tony Khan and the AEW legal team about this months ago. He said they got their answer, which was a non-issue because they wanted to ensure everything was okay. Months later, the article comes out. I couldn't believe it. It didn't come out in March. It blindsided both of us. I don't care to be in the video game. My worry is leaving a legacy, having fun with my best friend, and on top of all that, taking care of Maria, my wife, and Finley, my daughter. End quote. Now, would I be surprised? I want to throw this out there. Would I be surprised that internal drama regarding FTR emerges out of AEW? No. I would not be shocked. I've heard for months that there is political nonsense backstage. Now you're starting to see the impact of it with this Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa shit, this CM Punk, Adam Page shit, CM Punk's influence on the locker room probably being a big issue. But if I was to hear news about political nonsense about FTR, I would not be surprised. You know, we've heard a lot of rumors about FTR being held back by other tag teams, Bucks, in AEW. And the reason why that match wasn't booked for All Out is because of political reasons. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but if I heard that come out, I would not be surprised. And I don't think that there's political bullshit because I don't know why there would be. You know, Young Bucks have pretty much dropped the titles to Swerve and Keith Lee. They've put over other teams. I mean, they've played ball, and they've done a great job at what they need to do there. So I don't know why there'd be political bullshit. Their legacy is cemented. FTR's legacy is cemented. Why the egos? Sounds like one big fucking high school drama. Bullshit. I don't get it. Everybody's going to get a cut of carving out their own legacy. I don't know why there's got to be a fucking issue. Why isn't Dax and why isn't Cash in the game at launch? Cody Rhodes apparently is in the game. Cody Rhodes is in the game and FTR is not. FTR is with AEW. Cody Rhodes is not. He's with WWE. I don't know. But people are making a big deal about this. First of all, good for Cody Rhodes. He gets extra payday. He gets extra fucking revenue with his likeness being in the game. Cody Rhodes is one of the founding fathers of AEW. So to me, to play as Cody Rhodes and have his model already scanned in the game and have his theme music and his moves and everything regarding Cody Rhodes in the beginning stages of a career mode in AEW with it being their first game, why are you upset about that? if he's one of the founding fathers of the video game and it's okay with him being in the game, what is the big deal? I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with FTR being left out of the game. Do you want to know why? Because this game is not going to be something that comes out and is an annual release. This game is going to be one game, and the team is going to work on it and mold it and add to it. There's going to be extensions and layers to this game that are going to come out, every quarter or so. This is not going to be a one-and-done deal, and they're going to come out with a new game next year. There will be additions to the game. There will be DLC in the game. If FTR is not in the game, FTR will be added as DLC in the game. If Keith Lee is not in the game or Swerve is not in the game and they are active AEW performers, they will be added at a later date. Maybe not everybody was scanned. Their image and their likeness wasn't scanned for the game. They only had a select number of people, 50, I believe, that were scanned for the game. If you weren't scanned now, who's to say that they haven't been scanned yet or have been scanned yet? I don't understand you people. Everybody on social media makes it into a big deal, makes something into a fucking catastrophic, unbelievable mess. This is not that. Now, it's easy to say, hey, AEW's got a bunch of shit going on. This is more drama. There's problems with FTR and Tony Khan. There's political bullshit keeping FTR out of the game. This is not something that's going to be an issue. They were already scanned for the game. They got pulled from the game. They will be added at a later date. Who cares? It's not that big of a deal. It's not the end of the world. You will be able to play as them when the time comes. And there's a creative character. If you're so fucking worried about FTR not being in the game, there are a ton of talented people in the wrestling community, wrestling video game community, that I'm sure will create Dax and Cash for you to play as. It's not the end of the world. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Thank you so very much for all your support. Hit that thumbs up, 1,000 likes minimum. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JDfromNY 206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Links are down below. Go check out all the other content on the channel. Last week, loaded week, including that colossal episode 442 of the podcast on Saturday night. And make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the bell for notifications. Guys, I'll see you live again Wednesday nights with AEW Dynamite. I'll be live with Jesse. We got a major night, as it is the go-home show for Sunday's major all-out pay-per-view. I'll see you live Wednesday, and I will see you guys then for Dynamite. Have a great one, and I'll see you guys later.